republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Done.
Republic for which it stands, one
Here.
nation, under God.
Here.
Councilman Hanlon,
Here.
Councilman Niles.
Here.
Supervisor Molino.
Here.
Is yours working?
No,
His isn't.
check the
This
base.
is not working now.
Check the
This
base.
one I don't.
Mess with the base, push it down. Base.
You'll yell, there's not too many people. I gotta get that comfort. He said it's not working. Everyone else isn't.
Yeah.
All right, the first, Board Judge Hayes would like to speak to the board.
Know that the board has had passed
He should have.
resolutions.
Yeah,
Yours.
there you go.
I know the board has had past resolutions with regards to a JCAP grant from the Unified Court System for a magnetometer and a wand. It has come to my attention through talking to other courts after having acquired the magnetometer and the wand, the board had not made a resolution to have the help needed in order to operate it. Now, I know that everyone knows that we do have a court officer, Steve, here. His position has been inside the court. And the court officer's main responsibilities are to protect the court, mainly the judge. The importance of this address was brought about by my last evening as a cap judge at the beginning of the month. The troopers had arrested somebody in between the two cap sessions over there. Took him to lockup at the Warren County facility. Returned later that day, picked him up, brought him to court with a felony cuffing, which is a belt around the waist, handcuffs in front. At the appropriate time, after bringing him to court, the defendant and the public defender went into the conference room. Within a minute and a half later, there was a commotion, and the two troopers there stated he's got a knife, and they rushed him. They wrestled him to the ground, finally got the knife away from him. And I guess even to this day, they have not determined where he got the knife, but the knife was brought in. We don't have a magnetometer at the cap court, which probably would have caught that. They didn't use the magnetometer at the county facility going in and out of lockup. They only use it in and out of the main facility. The importance of increasing our security, I would think, would be quite obvious to anybody that's even watched the news once. So the proposal is to not only add another proposal or resolution for the purchase through the JCAP program. For those who are not familiar with the JCAP, it's a grant given by the Unified Court Systems to the justice courts to improve their courts. But to also emphasize the need for additional security. If it could happen over into the county, it could happen here. I've got Steve here with me. He's going to discuss a little bit with you all about the cost of the magnetometers and the wands, but also the necessity for having trained individuals. Steve?
Good afternoon, everybody. We have been talking about getting a a walk-through metal detector for the courts. And a hand scanner. For obviously what Judge Hayes just said. It's in New York State, you're seeing it more and more often because of the bail reform. People just don't care how they act or what they do. If, at least if we have something here, we can nip it in the butt in the hallway rather than be in the courtroom if there was a problem. I priced out some of the metal detectors. They vary in price. I don't think that we would need anything high tech being there. And ideally, the hallway would be the best place for it because it's on camera. If anybody tampered with it, if it was being, bumped or any type of damage, it's on camera, it can be watched. Price range from 3,500 to 8,500. I don't know if that's installed, but that's the price range that I got on these. They're all Garrett multi-zone. They have portable. The portable ones are a little bit more pricey. They're more towards the $8,000 price range. But when it's not being utilized, it can be taken out of the hallway and locked up over here or in a supply closet. And hand scanners, they're great as far as if somebody doesn't pass the walk-through machine, they get hand scanned. That's the scanner that goes over the body. Obviously, if I was sick, needed assistance or anything, we would need an additional person. If you have a metal detector in the hallway, somebody has to run the metal detector while somebody stands in the courtroom. It would be 3 hours on Wednesday minimum, but we could use an additional person.
Upon obtaining the magnetometer and the wand, a trained person, all right, would need to be hired by the town. JCAP does not cover the cost of hiring somebody or their payroll. And a backup person, as Steve just mentioned, should one of the two main part-timers become ill, would need that backup person to cover that. The cost and stuff, we have a cap of $30,000. The amount of money that Steve has researched and stuff like that, I think we should get the best that we can, rather than taking any chances of malfunctions or problems with the magnetometer. I'm looking for a resolution to once again address the use of the JCAP program, which is the Justice Court Improvement Program, and also to a resolution on hiring a court officer.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Neither do I. The hiring of part-time court officers, one that would be there every week and a backup should one of the two get sick.
The cost of the equipment would be paid by that program.
The cost of all the equipment would be covered under the grant from the Unified Court System.
I was under the impression that that's already in the works for the magnetometer, right?
Like I said before, there was the JCAP season, if you will, or window of operation. We were too early in the previous time. If there was a second time it was brought up, it was after that. I just wanted to, I recently, because we're going to submit it, we had to have it in before the 9th of October. And what we need from the board would be a resolution passing the authorization to have the JCAP pay for that. The board, the town, I mean, would not need to pay for that equipment. Only the hires of the part-time security officers, court officers. I'd be open to any other questions at this time.
Is the equipment, Judge, the equipment, and Steve, the equipment, is that the equivalent of our walkthrough we had?
Yes.
And that, what end of the
The
spectrum is
Garrett,
that?
The
That lower or
machines were
high end?
Garrett's.
Okay.
All three of them that I priced out were Garrett's.
Good stuff.
And yeah, they're all good machines. We've used them for years and never had issues with.
And what's the lowest end one? Is that the walkthrough?
$3,500.
What's the high end, the cell sense that we used to use?
The Paragon, it's a 66 zone. It's $8,500.
Okay.
And it's,
Yeah. 30 some odd years. Well,
I think any thoughts of a cheaper portable, when I use the word cheaper, I'm, you get what you pay for. Would be no sense at all to have something just because you're wanting to pitch a penny. And again, that's not to do with the board per se. It's, JCAP is paying for it. And as long as they're paying for it, we have that cap of $30,000. We should utilize that to our advantage.
If it will fit, I would agree.
Yeah, I think it should go with a better one. Are you gonna write up the grant application for it?
Judge Gillis is actually doing that
Mhm.
portion of it. Because the incident that happened over at Capcorp happened while I was there. And I'm sure it hasn't even reached, because of the ongoing case, reached the papers, or it hasn't been disseminated as to what actually occurred over there. But it was a very, very serious incident.
Mhm.
One trooper came within a couple of inches of having his throat slashed. It was an 8-inch knife with not duct tape, but electrical tape on the handle, and a double-edged stiletto type 6-inch blade.
Yeah.
Capcorp,
Oh, that-
County.
Yeah.
And you
And
want,
when I mentioned Capcorp, that's the centralized arraignment part. When the justice courts from the surrounding towns in Warren County that want to participate, they're on a rotation basis. Any arrests that are made that require an immediate arraignment. All right, for the purpose of possibly getting an order for protection, or possibly setting bail, or releasing them under supervision probation. They either bring them directly to the cap court session, which is in the morning from 8:30 to 10:30, in the evening 5:30 to 8:30. In between those times, if the cap session or cap is not in session, they take Warren County lockup. And the arresting agency then has to go there for the next cap session and bring them.
But the machine you're talking about will be for here.
Yeah,
Here.
yeah.
yes,
that's-
it's for here.
What he's talking about back there is the judges take turns,
Yeah, I got
at the county to supply a judge.
Anyways, we do arraignments over there for the entire county. Regardless of what jurisdiction it is, we have the authority under the centralized arraignment part agreement to do arraignments for any jurisdiction, to include Glennsville City. And we do. Just because the more violent defendants, if you will, are normally, the Queensbury, Lake George areas or Glennsville City. They don't have an on-call judge. When we went, I think it was about 4 years ago, we started the cap sessions. Matter of fact, I was the first judge to do it for Warren County. It alleviated the judge getting a call in the middle of the night. They arrest somebody in the middle of the night, they get through with them, we put them in lockup, they bring them to cap court in the morning. But again, that is obviously questions that you have, but what is required in order for us to have a successful grant application put out is the resolution
staff.
to not only go ahead with the purchase through JCAP, the magnetometer and the wand, but also the authorization, if you will, of the resolution to hire part-time security. No longer are we in a situation, even in a small town like Luzerne, where we don't have, murders, bank robberies, felony drugs, because we have all of them. When I first took over 17 and a half years ago, I said, what kind of crime can Luzerne have? Well, guess what? For everything from petty larceny to murder. So.
And a couple of them.
We've had a couple.
And a couple of them too.
All right,
My
so,
memory serves.
so,
Yes, sir.
so you're asking, and I agree to get the better one, and I think the board
Yep.
will.
Yeah, I got a couple questions for you, Bruce.
Yeah.
$30,000 is the cap in this. It's 100%. The magnetometer would be covered by that grant.
Yes.
Okay. And then my next question is, where do you get the training from? Like who provides that training to operate the wands and the magnetometer?
That comes from trained security officers. Court officers have a training program, but there are trained already court officers and high-end security people such as Steve that can fulfill that, position.
So we'd have to find one more.
Well, fund one more on a regular basis, but also have another one interviewed and be ready to come in, possibly at a minute's notice, but also so that he would already be on, not necessarily payroll, but be able to be compensated for that time.
Mhm.
I have a suggestion.
Yes, Karen.
I mean, I have no vote in this at all, but just listening to you, this, having one person and then a backup person, is there any way, instead of doing it that way, that you would be allowed to have one that rotates every other week so that that person is guaranteed at least a little bit of time and they're not just held out there, not working at, not getting anything from having made the commitment of being available during that time. I think we ran into that issue here with the Zoom operation. We had a backup for Zoom at one point, and because they weren't used, they went out and found something else to do. And so if it would be possible, if you had to, you could do one every other week, and then at least you would be guaranteeing them sometime.
Optimally, and I understand what you're saying, optimally, I was going on the lesser of the amounts that the town board would have to, pass.
Mhm.
If you go to Brunsville City Court, when you get off the elevator, there's two by the magnetometer and wand. You get into the courtroom and there's two there. They have volume. That doesn't preclude somebody coming into Luzerne court. And if one happens to be wanding somebody, meaning the body scan with a wand, the other one could continue having the processing. Do we have the volume? No, we don't. Do we have the need? I believe we do. The security cannot be overlooked anymore.
So what you were really asking for are two people that would be there each week.
Ultimately, that's what I
Okay.
would like.
I
What
misunderstood- I
proposed-
misunderstood then.
what I was proposed, not knowing exactly.
Yeah, I
the
misunderstood
position
what you were
that
asking
take.
for then.
It was the minimum, all right, as to the operation of that. One with a backup. And preferably, like I said before. It would not hurt to have two other part-time court officers. Which would cover all our needs.
I get that. I misunderstood what you were presenting. That's all.
Now, keeping this in mind. Once we get the magnetometer. Depending on the position that we put that at, now, there's a bypass to magnetometers. Your attorneys, police officers don't normally go through a magnetometer. They're gonna set it, especially with police officers, they're gonna set it off like nobody's business. Is to also. Town boards, you've ever had an incident in town board meetings?
Close, but never.
Is there a possibility?
Give it time.
Oh,
Yeah.
could be.
It's Murphy's Law,
They
right?
brought a weapon in with them when they came? Would you know if I had a weapon on right now? Okay,
I would suspect Steve might, because he can carry on and off duty, but not the judge. That's only my opinion.
rest assured,
Yes, boss.
rest assured, I don't have a weapon on right now, and up until about 2 years ago, a judge could carry it in court. but they passed legislation stating that unless the judges were retired peace officers or police officers, even though they had a concealed carry permit, they're not allowed to carry in the court.
All right,
It's
so,
considered a sensitive area.
all right, so moving along though, we're gonna take care of the equipment through a grant.
No, the resolution.
Or, well, we gotta make a resolution to do it, yeah.
Point. You need a resolution from us to commit to the staff.
What good is that magnetometer if you don't have somebody to run
You
it?
already have the resolution for the. equipment.
Queensbury Court had it for
No,
4
we-
years
no.
before they could
No,
get
we
the
didn't
town
do that.
board to authorize the hiring of individuals to man that. So they had the Justice Court Assistance Program purchase their magnetometer and sat in the building and collected dust for 4 years because the town hadn't made the resolution or the commitment to hire.
Bruce, how many hours a week and what would the rate of pay be for these certified people?
I would think they would be equivalent to what Steve was making during the period of time that he's in court, and I don't know what that is. And
Honestly, I don't know what it is either.
It's on salary.
We can call my wife, ask
Yeah,
her.
How many
we can get
hours?
the number out
How many hours a day?
a minimum of 3 hours once a week.
once a week.
We're not talking, thousands and thousands of
Right.
dollars a week or a month. I'm going to back up and state that now having talked it out, having listened to what Karen had to say, it should be for 2 more. Not a rotation, 2 more. If one of them got sick, we could get by.
Well, Karen said, well, I think the second two could do the rotation.
I don't think you're gonna be able to get,
You only need 2.
No, well, you need two and plus one.
got one in the courtroom.
One on the machine. And then
An extra guy.
Yeah.
the relief guy,
Yeah.
So
the
2 more
relief
people.
person.
Two more part-time people.
But one thing that does concern me is women. Where do we stand with that?
They put their purse in the box, you open it up and clear it just like they do other courts. They don't have a matron, if you will.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Or a female court officer.
Our problem we ran into at the facility was frisking in visitors coming in, the females. They would go through the magnetometer and they would set it off. And it usually tells you where on the body it is by the light on the side. It'll tell you, well, it's in the chest area. Rah. Now we have to have a changing room. They go in the changing room, take the bra off, put a smock on, come back out, go through it again until they pass. And then they go back in. It's a process, frisking them, touching them. It's very involved, this is a deeper subject than,
The logistics of carrying this through are still,
yeah, to be hammered out. We'll have to work it out. We'll figure it.
Get to that point unless we have what we need
Yeah.
to do it. And I know I'm taking a lot more time. I'm 27 minutes in, then you did.
It's worthless.
Oh, that's,
Batteries are dead.
It's important,
Yes, it is. It is
If
important.
you, as a town board, do not address security until something happens, I think we are remiss in doing so.
yeah. Well, like I said, we're gonna pass a resolution. I think we'll pass a resolution to go ahead and allow you to put the grant in to get the material we use. The other part, we have to have a resolution to go outside part-time work again. That's gonna be the tougher than buying the stuff. Because there's not a lot of people, 1 day a week, it's easy because the way Stevie does it, he works so many hours with us on water. And then he comes over here 1 day a week, so he has a rolling week.
Normally you would put it out to bid for a court officer, I would think. There are townships and even villages that have a part-time court officer. Well, they work there, and then they might go to another court on another day.
That's what you have to.
There are people out there. The town, of course, would have to take on the responsibility of putting it out, for hire. Word of mouth through the the court system that I have with other judges and court officers, Steve's network, if you will. We could get them. We just need to be able to say, hey, yes. We don't want to say, hey, do you want it? Oh, wait, we got to go to the town board and see if they'll authorize it.
We could find somebody.
Huh?
We could find somebody, I agree with it.
Yeah.
Between him and people he knows and I know and you know, and everybody.
We want to go ahead and
Somebody.
this right now, and get it over.
Yes.
Yes, I would like to.
So, do you see any problem with that? Go ahead. Okay, I'll try to make the first motion, which is to approve the grant program. So that you can proceed with that.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
And I make a motion. Committing the town to procuring the services of a security officer, 2 security officers, 3 hours. 2 security officers. Each 3 hours per week.
Minimum.
Minimum. If I have a court trial. But that's different. So there's gonna be more hours.
Yeah.
To say there's gonna be 1 day a week, you know, is a misnomer also, in case that I have a trial that starts on Monday.
To talk as needed,
As needed, but rough. budget
determined by the court.
purposes.
Minimum 3 hours a week,
Right.
usually.
That's my motion.
I will get a second on
I
that.
second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
You okay with wording, Lori?
Yes. Opposed? Hearing none carried. What about an hourly rate? Is it going to be the same as Mr. Bury or?
Trained people
yes,
are not, you know, your $15 an hour.
no,
Yeah,
hamburger
right.
flippers.
no, but same as Steve.
Okay, so.
Well,
can I
that's-
just
we'll
add
figure
to
that
this
out.
resolution?
Yeah.
Can I just add that wording in there?
I would recommend you set the rate of pay in accordance with the town's policy, presuming you have one. If not, go ahead and
Okay.
I would set it.
In a
Okay.
separate resolution?
Yeah.
Okay. So set rate of pay. According to the budget?
I wouldn't say the budget, I
No.
would say what Steve is making
Right.
as our court officer.
That's
Court
probably
officer.
what will be in the budget.
So according to.
Well, the
court
budget's gonna have to get
officer's pay-
increases or more.
Mm.
The budget is for the court.
Yeah, it's not lesser duties either, because if something goes on in that frisker in the courtroom, that man's gonna jump in and help him out. He definitely, they both need 2 people in there,
Mhm.
one back and each other's backup. You
Yes.
have to have 2.
And you just can't take somebody off the street that mows lawns
No.
and says I can do it. That's not the way it works.
Okay, usually just by resolution.
So you want to do another resolution? You want to amend the
Yeah.
one we already
He
did?
wants a separate resolution.
Okay.
To set the rate of pay, according to court officer pay.
I'll make a resolution for the pay rate to be in accordance with court officer pay
A second.
current.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
When's this have to happen? Well, when do we gotta find somebody? Roughly.
Gotta get the
The
machine
grant
first.
goes in October 16th.
Okay. We will get some idea after October as to when we might possibly acquire this. To put it out now would be a little premature, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably lose them.
I think so, yes. Can the court, come to the board and say, hey, we're getting real close to having this stuff in place. Let's go ahead and start seeking out. We already have some, at least one individual that we know is trained that would be interested. And the other person. And again, we talked a little bit about the logistics, but the rotation. I think that's going to be hindrance to actually the hire. If they can get 4 days a month versus 2, I think it's more attractive. And I hope that the resolution you passed was to hire 2.
Yes,
Yeah, we
have
said
it
2.
for 2.
Okay,
Yes.
Very good.
So.
Any other questions? The court might be
Steve,
able to
you're here all the
address?
time, you can keep us posted and give us a month's notice if you can.
We'll do the.
If you got somebody kind of on the hook, you know, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, it's gonna happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
You're sure we can go through our Rolodex and find someone.
All right, any questions for the court before we leave?
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, we're gonna open the floor to the public right now on legislation part of our meeting. If anybody has any questions on what you're reading or what our resolutions are gonna be. Looks like there's none.
You don't have anybody zoomed in.
No hands up or anything? All right, we'll move along. Lori, go ahead.
Resolution to pay the bills of the 16th abstract of 2024. General fund vouchers 3734 to 3759. $21,261.70. Highway fund vouchers 3760 to 3773. $3,660.56. SW1 Water District vouchers 3774 to 3775. $1,153.20. SW2 Water District vouchers 3776 for $30.
I make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Proposed resolution to authorize Supervisor Merlino to execute and enter into a contract for with the Adirondack Park in Catskill, the Adirondack Park and Catskill Park Community Smart Growth Grant Program for $125,000 plus a local match of $25,000. Total project being $150,000.
I think we should add, that's with DEC. Contract.
It says DEC 01 dash, I just didn't read all that.
This is the playground.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Possible resolution to allow the Adirondack Folk School to build an addition on the blacksmith shop building at 51 Main Street, owned by the town of Lake Luzerne.
Who's that? It's not me.
I'll make a motion for that.
A second.
Is that Councilman Morton?
Amy, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
Seriously.
Okay, I guess you
Oh,
don't
oh,
need
don't
to.
sell it, John.
You got a phone over there or something? Fine.
Discussion on employee health insurance. If you wanted to do that today or not, I don't.
We should probably do that during the regular board meeting. That people will be here, be able to attend it.
Excuse me, somebody got a phone ringing on buzz? or-
I hear it
Yes.
too, but
I hear it too.
It's something on the audio. It's a reverberation on the audio. It's bouncing.
So you just want to add that as a resolution?
Yes.
For the, okay,
Yes, with discussion, of course.
a resolution.
I think it'll be a pretty brief discussion.
Got time.
That would be for the September 3rd, I think.
What are we doing?
Answer time. Just gonna.
September 3rd meeting.
Oh, you can put it on for the next meeting?
Yeah, just for opens us, so people can come during a regular board meeting and we can, I don't know, do you think it's better to do that, or what do you want to do? What do you think?
Whatever you want to do. That's, we got.
Well, seriously, what do you want to?
No, if you want to wait and have more
Okay,
people.
so you think it's a better idea to do it now? I'm
It
open
just, it
for
just
but-
gets it closer to the due date, because
Done.
it starts on December 1st.
Okay,
So if you go into September,
Maybe not.
you know, he still might have a month, but it's fine with me. We're ready. And I think we all agree with it, but.
yeah.
If you want to have more people in here.
I mean, I personally, I'm happy to do it tonight. I mean, my personal opinion, you know how I feel. I thought it was great. We talked about it last time. I didn't. If anybody else has more to add to it, other than that, I think it's,
I'm comfortable with it. I don't find any fault either with your idea of
Mm.
having it in the bigger meeting, so I can go either way.
So that would be your MVP HMO HDHP Silver 3 HSA plan.
Yeah, there was the one next to it. It was,
It's the same as we got now.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes.
I think we should get it out of the way.
Yeah,
yeah.
What'd you say?
I think we should move forward with it.
I'm fine with it. Okay,
I'm fine with it.
somebody want to make a motion for the first one and then we'll do the dental too.
I'll make the motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. And then also the high mark is the dental program. There's no changes in that.
That's the last page on the.
And that is fully paid. The premiums are fully paid by the employees.
I make a motion.
I'll second. Oh,
Look at it. Aye.
yes.
My mic's not working.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Okay, so now we're down to resolutions for September 3rd. So we have bills, minutes, and what else?
Oh, the lifeguards.
Oh, yeah, lifeguards. Yep.
Right.
Well, the lifeguard is a discussion. We got a note from the
Okay.
lifeguard committee. They were looking for $20 an hour for next year. It's something that we're really gonna have to discuss before we do the budget.
Okay, so that's discussion.
You know, because right now, there are probably maybe I don't know, me two or three or four employees that are in the 17, 18, and $19 an hour that we might have to look at when you're giving a 16-year-old or 15-year-old $20 an hour. We got time. We don't have to,
Yeah.
you know, we got the budget coming up in a couple of months and they don't need it till next year, but I think it's something we got to discuss and we'll check out the employees. Maybe we might have to do a special resolution and move some of the employees up a little bit. Because like Ron says, a lot of these gentlemen and women, you know, go out in the wintertime and be in ditches and all that, and they're making $18, $19 an hour. You're gonna give a lifeguard 20. It's only a proposal, so it's not mandatory. But it's something we got time to think.
We have time because the season's coming to an end and.
Right.
Yeah. But you do.
You know,
have
I'd like to check
discuss
with
it
other towns too.
Because of the budget coming up.
You know, I'd like to check with other towns and see what they're doing. They're probably in the same boat we are, because that's what happens. If one gets it, they all want it. All right, so you're all right with that, just a hold on.
Yeah.
So, okay. We received an email from Mary Ellen Allison, interested in being an alternate to the planning board. So I don't know if you want to interview her at the next meeting.
Yeah, we do that before.
That has been on the website for about 2 weeks. I don't know if you would like to leave it for at least a month and then interview. We still have one alternate anyway, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
But
Well, let's soak a little longer then.
she sent this application in even before, I believe, it got put on the website or the day that it got put on the website. She was asking about it beforehand. So in fairness, I think we should leave it open for at least a month and then see if we get any.
Which one is
anyone
that for?
else.
That's the planning board, you said?
Planning board alternate, yes,
Second alternate.
Second alternate.
second alternate, correct.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright. And then the Adirondack Folk School dropped off a letter and a copy of our ad that we normally put in every year. It's a full page inside the back. And they want to know about renewing that, so we'll need discussion and a resolution on that if you choose to move forward with that, so.
Yes.
Did they make any changes? You know,
No, not that I know
because
of.
it's easy if they didn't.
It was $550 for the year for that full page. And we've done that for many years, so
Yeah, That comes
It
out,
depends. I
that
mean,
comes
if-
out after the tax.
if you want to modify it and go to a half a page, then it's 300. And it can be a half.
Yeah,
No, we've done the full
we
thing.
updated this past year, right?
Where is it, Mary? I mean, Mary.
We don't have it.
It's in their catalog. It's the very back page. On the inside.
We don't have that.
I don't think you have a copy of the catalog.
No.
No, I thought we did. That
Jean,
was
you
a,
can pass that down.
Now
She
magazine,
can
yep.
look at that.
that was this.
This is basically, we've been doing this like this for many years.
Yeah, I think we updated this last
Yeah,
year.
we did a couple of changes.
So I'll put that on for next
It's in this.
month. And that's all I have, as far as that goes.
Karen, do we have to pass a resolution to like adopt this as town policy for the septic systems?
Mary asked that we,
We're not talking about that
is
yet.
that letter that came through?
Yeah.
Mary asked that we hold off discussing that until she's back from vacation.
Okay.
We're not talking about that yet, please.
I like that idea.
All right, you done? You finished with your stuff?
Pam Moran.
I got that here.
Okay.
And there was one application that came in, thank you. For the deputy zoning short-term rental. It's what we've only, position, but we've only received one, so.
Yeah, we're just gonna wait a little bit longer and then we'll.
Same thing.
I
Yeah.
would suggest same thing, leave it out there for a month
All
and
right,
then,
that's what you
yeah.
said.
Do we have to approve him?
We have, yeah, oh yeah, we have his application. Chase's application. That would be the $75 a meeting stipend, so.
Jason, you are happy with that? Okay, so I'll make that motion because he seems like he picked it up real quick, so that's good for us.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wait till the
Opposed?
meeting's
Hearing
over.
none carried. So at a $75 per meeting stipend. Okay, that's all I have.
I just have just a couple of quick things that I want you to know what's going on certain things. Number one, why this is happening, I don't know, but I guess it's the right thing to do. Pam Moran wants to have a 1-day exemption on no dogs in the park when she has her pug party. We've been doing this for 10 years. Now all of a sudden, she feels like she's breaking the rules, bringing all these bugs into the park.
There's a sign that says no dogs.
No dogs, a couple signs, but so we can make a 1-day resolution that dogs can be allowed in our park, if that's the way we want to put it out.
I make a motion, we give that 1 day pass.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Opposed?
thank you.
So, for the pug parade event to allow dogs in the park.
And I have just two other things here that I think we have to talk about. We passed a dumpster resolution a couple of months ago for it'd be almost all the businesses now that have to have a dumpster. I got 2 calls. They probably talk to each other because they're right next door to each other. One is from Bob Marlowe, and the other one is from Ed Bus. Okay, I couldn't find it. I couldn't think of his name. All right, both of those gentlemen asked that they can get reprieve from that, because they don't close until the 1st of October. So to get a dumpster from the middle of September to the middle of October, if we could just let it go for them, and I think, you know.
That's reasonable.
It's
We intended that for the closing of the
Right,
season.
right.
That's all that was.
And the other thing, they both said that they want to make sure, and I'll take care of that through buildings and grounds, that they live on their premise.
Remember, we talked about last
So,
meeting, we talked
uh,
about that.
They want to get garbage picked up.
Yeah,
at
go back to
their
the
own
cans.
personal, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Yep.
so that's good, you know.
I think we should, yeah, and add, maybe, think about, is there anything we need to do to add any wording into our garbage pickup thing to, so remember we talked about that, we need to do
Yeah.
some of that, yeah.
All right, so those 2 are, that's the only one. The only other, I did get a call from Igor, he owns a trailer park. All he wanted was for me to give some recommendations who he should call for. So I gave him a couple of numbers. Ace is the biggest one in town, so I gave him first and I gave him one other one. So I haven't heard, but I know he's gonna do it. So, and I saw a couple of, even the church now has a dumpster in the back or in the parking lot. And I'm assuming that's for the motels across the street. You know, I haven't looked, but it's a new dumpster out there and they own the church and the motel. So I'm assuming that's one is that they're doing. The only last thing is, and also the church is having, our Episcopal Church is having a big picnic Saturday in our park. They already got permit and everything. And they called today to ask, is it all right that they can go in the park and set up all their tents Friday night? I will take care of that, but I just want you to know that's what's gonna happen. All right? And that's about all I have. Everything else seems to be pretty good. So do I get a motion to adjourn?
Hold up.
What?
That was slick. That was a good one.
Should they make the resolution for those two businesses to be exempt?
I don't think you need I don't think you need a resolution for that. We're just gonna allow them the extra month.
Just let it slide a little, just,
Yeah,
You could exercise your discretion in not enforcing. I
Yeah.
assume It's a provision.
right,
in the code.
right. That's,
I don't know that.
we just started that. All the businesses are now gonna have dumpsters. But they're just asking for an extra month and that's easy. All I have to tell the buildings around, they gotta pick it up. But if we do get another one, because they, but I don't think you'll get any more questions.
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll give them a month.
Yeah,
We'll just, it's no big deal. We'll just,
it's no big
I'm
deal.
trying to Drive them out of town.
no.
No.
Start getting used
Look
to
like
it. They'll get used to
Too
it.
many
It's fine.
resolutions. All right, so anything else? So I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
Bye.
I
That goes quick.